You're about to listen to our program Eng. We don't know why, however we are grateful you chose to. We do wish to inform you that the views, opinions and overall morality do not necessarily reflect those of the station, interview guests, sponsors or musical entities. If you should choose to continue, and we sincerely hope that you do, just know, we tried to advise you against these actions and we are not responsible for any damage done to your sanity, morals or ideals. Thank you. Here comes the terrible siren.
I am a humble man.
That you feel you don't belong.
I won't say you should follow me.
You are welcome. You are loved. Join us, and we shall reach the promised plain.
I'm not boastful, and my chorus is more soulful.
One of joy, one lacking pain. We are the cult of Odd. I am aware.
Don't say it. I can see
you
it.
feel you don't belong.
I don't wanna. You don't need it. Once again, we are legion. What I'm needing. Don't say it. I can see it.
Join us.
I don't wanna. You don't need it. Once again, we are legion.
One of joy, one lacking pain. We are the cult of Odd.
Welcome, everyone. You are joining us for another episode of the Cult of Odd. I am your friendly internet and neighborhood cult leader. And with me, for the first time, together, is Ace and Jad.
We're here. We are indeed.
All right, so we've got a bunch of shit to get through before we get into our squatching trip. Because Ace and I went squatching.
Squatched. We squatched it.
Yeah, we squatched it good. Okay, so off the top,
music.
Yeah, music. There we go. We'll start with music. Brand new music for the Cult of Odd is coming. I am working with Reverb Nation. I've submitted an offer, which is basically an open call for music. Submit your music, and we'll consider it for airplay. And so far, we've had 37 submissions in under 48 hours.
Woohoo! Nice.
We've kept 17 of them.
That's a good percentage.
Yeah. Like there's a lot of good stuff there, and some stuff just doesn't fit. It's not that it's bad or that I don't think it's good. Hello, Holy Mother. It's just that it doesn't fit, you know?
Right. That's fair.
Instrumental stuff. I don't typically play instrumental stuff. It's really hard to place because... Right. You know, people tune out during instrumental stuff. Slow songs, too. There are some slow songs that have been submitted that are good, but it would just drag everything down.
Maybe we won't work them in later.
Or I can find another way. But, like I said, we've kept 17 of the 37 so far, and it's running until November 16th. So we're going to bring in a whole bunch of new bands.
Cool. Always need new music.
I'm excited by the 17. Same. Yeah, I'm excited by the 17 that are there. You have no idea. I shared one with you.
They were pretty good.
But yeah, so it's really cool. I'm glad Reverb Nation was willing to work with me. It's Reverb Nation and Band Labs. They are working with us, and I added something new to my section of Tap Detroit. All of the DJs will have this in the coming months. But right now, because I needed to set it up to see if it worked and functioned, I just put it on mine. Because I was there. I'm the one doing all the work. What the hell? Let's give it a test run on my shit to make sure it works. And so it is a top 10 list. So if you go to thecultofodd.com or you go to tapdetroit.com/cultofodd, whichever is easier for you to remember.
Both.
Good answer.
2 pages up.
Then I'll
be confused.
Indoctrination. So yeah, if you go to either of those two URLs and you scroll down the page a little bit, once you get past the sponsor spot, there is the top 10 list, and you can vote Actually, you can listen to the songs that are there. Just click on the number or the song title. You can listen to the songs that are there. You can vote for the songs that are there with the up and down arrows. And there is even a way that you can purchase the songs directly from the artist.
Oh, well, that's really cool.
So if you like the song, buy it. There's a link there that you can buy it.
No better support.
Yep. We don't see any of the money. We don't touch the money. You're getting it directly from the artist.
As it should be.
Yep.
My intention with this top 10 list is each week it'll be refreshed. Each week everybody goes back to 0. And the top 3 slots from that previous week get the top 3 song slots for the fun size.
Get the feature.
Yeah.
Cool.
So it'll be featured. So it'll be up.
A contest going on.
Sort of, yeah. It's more so just whether you send your fans and your followers to do it for you, or people that listen to the Cult of Odd already enjoy the music, they can vote for it and move it up the ranks and whatnot. I realized it's essentially my Battle of the Bands idea that I started when we started this, that failed miserably, but in a different fashion. So I'm really excited about that feature for my section of Tap Detroit, and being able to add it to the other DJs' pages once we get all of them set up and everything running with the brand new.
That's great for the artists too.
Yep.
Yes.
And that's what we've always been about. You know, trying to help music and the artist find new listeners and bringing good songs to good people.
Oh, jeez.
We also
the world go round.
We also have a new artist and a new song in tonight's show. His name is Chandler, and we have the song called Haley Williams. We also have 2 new albums from artists that we had already. We have a new album from Snatch the Snail.
Oh, yeah.
And we have a new album from David Christ and the Apocalypse.
Oh, I just love the title of that group.
I love the title to their newest album.
Uh-oh.
Delusions of Grandma.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
So we've got 2 new songs from them in tonight's show, and plus we've got songs that are in the top 10 list on the Cult of Odd page right now.
Anytime.
Yeah, no, I fucking jumped in because I knew this was coming. I set this up towards the end of July, early August, that the offer would be dropping September 1st. I was amazed that when I went to check it, when I got up on September 1st, we already had 20 submissions.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Hey gang, it's your friendly neighborhood cult leader here, and I have an offer for all of the listeners of the Cult of Odd. Are you like me, an avid reader, but you find yourself not having the time to actually sit down and crack open a good book? Well, we've partnered with Audible. Audible has thousands of titles to choose from. Your old favorite books, new releases, their own original content, self-help stuff, exercise help, it does not matter. Audible has it for you. I know myself, when I'm doing stuff here in the studio, I have an audiobook usually going. If I'm working on graphics or doing copywriting for the shows, I have an audiobook going. I love stories. We tell stories through the show. That is essentially what our show is about. Stories. Audible lets you enjoy all of your audio entertainment in one spot. So what are you waiting for? Take advantage of it today. You get 1 free title a month. So in 30 days, they'll give you your first book free. You've got nothing to lose here. Go sign up and then come back and tell us how happy you are. Go to audibletrial.com/cult of odd and take advantage of getting 30 days free.
I understand, Holy Mother. She said, hey, careful about that grandma talk.
Quit being delusional.
So we've got stuff. I've got interviews that I'm going to be doing this month as well, so you'll be getting new interviews there. We're also, you know how for the last couple of years now, 2 years, I've done Free-Tober.
Right. Right.
This year's Free-Tober.
He chokes to death. It's beautiful. It's pretty.
This year's Free-Tober, I decided to do something a little different. I put up a poll last week asking which the listeners would prefer, whether they prefer a free full episode or a free celebrity interview.
I saw that.
And they chose celebrity interview.
Yes, I did.
There was more than just you, but...
I don't even care about myself.
Okay.
We all know this.
So now there is a new poll up on the Cult of Odd group on Facebook. If you're a fan, if you've already liked the Cult of Odd, or if you've already liked Cult of Odd's page on Facebook, look for the group and join it because we share a lot of stuff through there as well. But you can vote on which celebrity interview you would like, and that poll is going to be up for 3 weeks. I'm going to give everyone a chance to get in there and vote. Yeah, I know you did. Because there are multiple options. So your options, if you're listening, are Susan Lanier, Carl Gottlieb, Mark Scheffler, Bruce Valanche, Dee Wallace, and Jim Meskimen.
Those are some big names.
So, and if you want to know who anybody is for whatever reason, go Google it. You should know this already. Honestly, we're a movie. We talk movies. We talk, TV and shit like that. You should know who these people are.
If you don't know half the people on that list, then you have to go Google them.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
It's your homework.
I will say Jim Meskimen might be the one that not a lot of people would recognize off the bat.
Yeah, understandable though.
And Jim Meskimen, for those of you who don't know, is an actor, but he also does a lot of work as a voice actor. So you know his voice, you may not know his face.
Yeah, you'll recognize the voice.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So anyways, you can go vote. Like I said, voting ends in 3 weeks. So September 23rd is when the poll closes, and we'll see who the winner is at that point. And we'll unlock that one, and it'll be your Free-Tober gift.
Cool. That's a good idea.
Yeah. Got some good free stuff.
I like the idea of Free-Tober. I'm a Halloween nut, so of course I stick out your candy basket. Let me drop something in it.
And not a razor apple.
Fountain of straight lines, huh?
I didn't say a thing.
You might notice that Ace will be a little more surly than normal. He's turned into a real ace hole lately.
Yeah, I'm an ace hole. I had to give up smoking pot for a while before I could breathe. Breathing's important. But yeah, I'm 3 weeks into reality, and it's too surreal for me.
And he still showed up here.
Yeah. Yeah, I was looking for some normalcy, but I was wrong. I was wrong. This is as nutty as it is.
Yeah, things around here are a little odd.
A lot odd, yeah. I know it.
Sober or stoned, it's my ride, and you're just on it.
Yeah. It's the same padded cell.
We cleaned in the cracks a little bit, though.
Is that what that was? I felt somebody picking at my butt.
Yeah. Well, they were supposed to be using a toothbrush. If they were picking at it, it might have been something else.
Might have been the dogs.
The cockroaches. So, yeah, that covers pretty much everything that we needed to talk about for new shit and important stuff. We were off air last week just because we needed a break.
I was still sick.
Yeah, Ace was still sick. Ollie was sick. I was just I was burnt, and I didn't want to bring Jad or Corey over here because we weren't sure at that point really exactly what Ollie had. She'd had pink eye and an ear infection and tonsillitis all at the same time.
So she was just a festering mess.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, and she got it from her work.
Well, yeah.
Big shocker.
Yeah.
So, anyways, I did y'all a favor and kept you away until we could,
somewhat safe.
decontaminate.
We're decontaminated.
We're sanitized. That's a sanitation station.
I need one. I desperately need one.
Oh, Lord.
All right. So, as I said, Ace and I went squatching.
Squatched.
Squatch Watch.
I have some questions about that.
Well, ask away. We're
Okay.
here.
So, because obviously I wasn't there, I have questions. So did you guys set up any camera or anything?
We were mostly out there for our own personal experiences. I had my cell phone with me and I had my lapel mics with me, which I found out worked fucking amazing.
Oh, yeah.
The audio quality from sitting at the table with your brother and from in the car. My only issue within the car is the road noise, but you know what? It adds atmosphere to it.
Yeah.
When you let me borrow those lapel mics, I tested them with an app that I had, and the sound would sound phenomenal.
Yeah. So I know they're my new friends. I can do more stuff now. I've already got plans. But anyways, so yeah, we went with our own personal experiences. Although there with
I got a car cam. It records everything. So if we would have seen anything, I would have had it on film. But we just saw wildlife basically.
Yeah.
That sounds relaxing.
Although I was hoping to get the driving footage.
Yeah, I know. I worked on it, but things are kind of chaotic over there.
Yeah, I figured. Anyways, so we really just had our own personal experiences. Like that's all we went out there with, is to catch stuff. There was that one thing that we heard that I have no idea what it was, but I've been watching Bigfoot stuff since, and I still don't know what it was, but I know it ain't what I thought it was, because it was okay. So here's the thing: there's a sound that is attributed that a lot of Bigfoot hunters say they've heard, and it sounds like a hollow wood clunk, like if you. And what it sounded like to me, honestly, was like if you've ever heard two bucks lock antlers, that sound. But it's the wrong time of year for that. That wouldn't have happened.
No, not yet.
That's a little strange.
Well, most of the deer that we saw, we saw doe and buck, and most of the bucks had small horns still in velvet.
Yeah, they're not quite there yet.
So unless it was some older bucks that were out there, but we only heard it once. It was one clink.
So let catch everybody up. We drove up to the middle of the Huron forest to a place where I go called Bliss Lake, and we pulled in there about noon, middle of the day. We quietly parked the car, walked a quarter mile down to the lake, and we stood on just inside the tree line for about an hour, and that's where you heard that. But you got to admit, just being at that lake and sitting there quiet and watching, what did you sense?
We weren't alone.
No, you can feel somebody watching you.
Cue the X-Files theme song.
It really is. And it's always like that.
Yeah. And it's weird because it's peaceful and uneasy at the same time.
It's got a creepy vibe.
Yeah, because you're sitting there and you're enjoying the fact that there's no traffic, there's no city sounds, there's no people sounds. It's just wildlife and nature and the sound of the wind and the sound of the water and everything. There's no people sounds. It's just wildlife and nature and the sound of the wind and the sound of the water and everything.
I can imagine it being uneasy. I mean, most slasher films take place in the woods.
But that's the thing is you feel you're not alone. I know I wasn't alone. Ace was there, but you feel like you're not by yourself there. It is not as secluded as you would believe it to be.
Yeah, because you drive back there, even off of the side street, off of the main fire trail down that little side chute. You're a good 5 miles back into the woods, and you hadn't seen anybody going in. And as soon as you get out and get around that lake, you can sense it.
I'll tell you how you know you're in the middle of goddamn nowhere. There's a keep out sign that has bullet holes in it.
Oh, yeah. There you go.
Oh, yeah. You can't even read the sign anymore.
Yeah, I know. And there was a lot of them in there.
There's so many O's in this.
Keep out.
Oh, it's howling.
It must be the spooky sign.
But, so we had that experience, and then we were out there at night, and Ace saw something that he couldn't explain, and I saw something that I couldn't explain.
That's why I wanted that footage, and I still haven't got to see it. And when I get my hands on it, I'll share it with you. I don't know what I saw, but I saw some kind of dim light floating around through the woods, which I've never experienced out there before. I've never seen that there.
So what you guys are saying is you guys went looking for Bigfoot and found aliens.
That happened to me once before. In Illinois, yeah. Went Bigfoot hunting and saw satellites being delivered.
Yeah, see?
But yeah.
It's funny you bring that up. It's almost like you were there.
We should in a trunk.
Let's not probe into that already.
Yeah.
Womp
Yeah,
womp.
that was something different that I've never experienced out there.
What's weird is because like your light was on the ground that you saw, and I caught just a glimpse of that. I was busy looking up at the sky because I saw a light moving that I couldn't fucking.
Okay, let's catch everybody up here.
Oh,
we
God.
had left the hotel room at about 10 o'clock at night. We drove for 2.5, 3 hours out into the middle of nowhere, driving around, and on the way back towards the hotel, we stopped in at Bliss Lake at about, 1:30 in the morning?
Yeah, somewhere between 12:30 and 1:30.
No moon. So it's just dark. And when it's dark up there, you literally can't see your hand in front of your face.
Advanced darkness, you disappear.
Yeah, and we pulled in and shut the car down, shut the lights off, and we were sitting there in the dark. And like I said, it was just so dark. And then all of a sudden, this really dim light started bipping around through the trees between us and the lake, which is less than 1/8 of a mile. And I sat there and watched it. And he's like, "You see that?" Well, we can't see one another, and the car's dark. And I said, "Do you see a light?" And I'm watching this light. And he goes, "Yeah, I see it up by the tops of the trees." And I was like, "Tops of the trees?" So I leaned into the dash and was looking up, and I said, "Oh, yeah, I see that one, too."
Holy Mother said there have been reports of Bigfoot near and around Bliss Lake. We know.
Yeah,
That's why
so
we went up
there-
there. Is the Huron Forest has a lot of Bigfoot sightings there. And some of the audio that we got, which you're going to be getting, but not tonight. It's going to go up to the YouTube channel. I've got an idea. And I don't know if I want to get into it too much before we get too much in motion for rolling to keep the idea our own. But let's just say what you're going to get is more proof of concept than it is content for the show. You know, it's supplementary content to this episode, but it's more proof of concept. And we'll get into that later on, I'm sure. But for right now, just leave it at that.
It's left.
Yeah.
I don't even know what the hell you're talking about.
Yes, you do.
Okay.
I talked to you about it.
Oh, did you?
A road trip?
Oh, okay. Yeah, okay. Yep. I'm up to power now. Yeah, I just caught up.
Yeah. So, but what I ended up finding more fascinating than the actual hunting of Bigfoot is the stories of the people. There are reports in and around the entire upper end of Michigan of Bigfoot sightings or Sasquatch or however you want to say it. Skunk ape. Skunk ape is usually more southern though.
Yeah.
But there have been reports there. In fact, in Michigan alone, and I found this out while I was doing some looking, there are roughly 225 sightings a year of Bigfoot in the upper Michigan area.
Upper, lower Michigan.
Yeah, so like...
See, that's why I don't walk naked in the woods.
So, and what I found interesting is over the course of the last 92 years, there have been 3,313 sightings across the entire United States and Canada.
And let me interject. Reported sightings.
Yes, reported sightings. That's the other thing that you have to realize is like that 225 number, those are the reported ones. Those are the ones that people were actually willing to say something. The biggest issue a lot with Bigfoot believers is they don't want to talk about it because they don't want to be seen as the freak at the sideshow. You know, hey, Jim over there's got a Bigfoot story. Give him a couple of beers and I'm sure he'll tell you all about it.
Hey, but that's the best person to be around. I love hearing Bigfoot stories.
Right, but everyone else looks at them like they're fucking
Crazy?
weirdos. Yeah, they're crazy. They're weirdos and shit. But I posit this. Believing in Bigfoot is no different than believing in God. You can't see it. You don't know that it's there. You just feel and think that it's there. Well, you just feel and think that
And
Bigfoot's
honestly,
there.
is a Bigfoot or a Sasquatch really outside the realm of possibility?
To some
No.
people, it is.
Look at all the animals and creatures we have on this planet, and you tell me that a Bigfoot, out of all the crazy things we've seen, is just impossible.
Yep.
Come on.
Well, the biggest knock most people say, especially about upper lower Michigan, the Huron Forest in particular, it's not big enough to sustain a large population of bipedal animals. The Huron Forest is 110 miles by 90 miles. If you can't live in there and not be seen, something wrong with you.
Right.
And there's nothing.
It might be an influence.
There's nothing saying also that it's a big population.
No, it just has to be a sustainable population.
Yeah. That's the thing that we like to forget is nature knows how to keep itself in balance. You know, it doesn't get too far out of whack one way or the other. Nature takes care of itself for the most part. It's only when man starts interfering that things get fucked up. Just ask Ace's brother about the preservation societies.
Well, that's the thing, too. Because we're also finding new creatures and stuff and animals and insects every day.
Yep.
So, yeah.
Well, it was just 5 years ago over, I think it was South America, they found a 50-pound mule deer that's got nostrils up just below its eyes. They had never been seen before. This isn't some little critter crawling around. This is a 50-pound deer.
Yep.
And they had never seen it. Brand new.
Well, I had cause, because of what I'm doing, to go and look deeper at the Patterson Gimlin footage. And I found a stabilized version outside of that group that I invited you into. But I had found a stabilized version that had zoomed in and cleaned up the footage a little bit so it was clearer.
Pretty impressive, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, okay, so here's the thing. They didn't add anything. If you look at the original and you look at this side by side, they stabilized it and they sharpened the image. That is it. You know, there's no retouching or anything else other than stabilizing and sharpening. They zoomed in so you could see the creature. Yeah.
Massive thighs. I mean, they're just
And it's a female.
Uh-huh. If you was going to fake it, especially back in 1967, would you think to do a female? I wouldn't have.
No.
The thing is, too, is like it when you look close enough at the Patterson Gimlin footage or Gimlin footage, it doesn't look like a fake suit.
No, not at all.
If it was a fake suit, it was ahead of its fucking time.
They still can't reproduce that. Well, maybe nowadays with CGI, but
I know special effects.
CGI in a
is
costume,
bad.
not happening.
I know special effects guys in the movie industry like Joe Castro. They could probably recreate that now. But the thing is, back then, that wouldn't have been that level of detail. And it like when it moves just like an animal's fur would, and you can like see through to the skin a little bit.
Yep.
Like it looks like a fucking animal.
Now, I saw a thing, it had to been, I don't know, 10, 15 years ago, a long time ago, when Bigfoot started to become popular again. They had zoomed in on it and was watching it walk, and on its right thigh, it has torn its upper thigh muscle. And without surgery to reattach that, when you flex that muscle when you walk, it bulges if it's not been reattached. And you can see on the upper thigh of this thing that when it steps down, it bulges out like a softball. Big. And then when it releases the pressure from its leg, it concaves. And you can see the fur bulge and concave. Bulge and concave. At that point, I knew that footage was real.
Yeah, and the gait that it has doesn't look like a human gait, doesn't look like a human trying to fake a gait.
And the turn.
Yeah, that.
Because it ain't got no neck. It can't get past its own shoulders.
And it knew they were there, and it did not give a fuck. It was just
walking along.
Yep.
Doing its thing. Not giving a fuck.
I saw people too in groups and pages and stuff that I explored. Well, look at its white feet, you know, and it's like, no, it's a dry riverbed.
You're always going to have somebody knocking it. 'Cause
Yeah.
they don't understand what they're seeing.
Well, the area that
just
it's
don't
in.
wanna believe
Why are the feet white?
They don't want to know what they're saying.
It's a dry, white, sandy riverbed. It's gonna have white-looking feet.
Yep.
Like the bottom of the feet is what they were saying.
You walk around in Detroit and you're going to have permadirt on your feet.
Yeah. And I was, like I said, I was more interested in the human aspect of Bigfoot. I want to know the stories. And so that's something I'm going to set out about trying to do is I'm going to try to ply every individual that has had a Bigfoot encounter to speak to me, not in a sense of tell me your Bigfoot story. No, I want to hear your story. I want to hear the history of that story. I want to know, is it a generational thing? Have you had multiple members through your family who have had different encounters?
And that's what got you, wasn't it? That a lot of my family.
That's what changed the whole.
About it.
That's what changed my whole outlook on going up there and what we were doing. Is that right there? Like that spun my head and was like, I want more.
See, my family is a lot like me in a lot of ways. We're storytellers. We just do it well. We've learned from generations of telling stories. We know how to tell stories.
So that seems really odd and weird that they won't talk about that specific story.
And like I said to him, at deer camp, there's 3 sections. Everybody gets together and tells their laughy stories, and then the crowd thins, and then just the drinkers are left, and pretty soon you hear all the wild girl chasing this and did that, and my glory day stories, and then you get down to
back when my pecker worked.
Then you get down to the ones that had too much to drink and should have kept their mouth shut, and that's when you get your Vietnam stories, your my life's been really hard story, and your Bigfoot stories. It's the last on the list. Nobody really wants to talk about.
Yep.
And it's because, in a way, they're ashamed, I think, because they don't want
to be the one, hey, he saw a Bigfoot. Where I don't care. If I saw it, I'd proudly announce it. I saw a Bigfoot.
I literally want to get that shirt made we were talking about. Got Bigfoot.
I say people already think I'm crazy. So, yeah, I would just tell people I've seen Bigfoot if I've seen one.
But yeah, my goal is to try to talk to a bunch of those individuals and see how many, like if there are family stories, how many in the family I can get to talk to me, find out the heritage and the history of that family surrounding Bigfoot and whatnot.
That's the thing, the history goes back. I chased it down through Indian folklore. Well, and there is some tribes in the Midwest that grow garlic. They don't eat garlic. They didn't even know really what garlic was.
Well, hold on. We're going to get into that when we get back. We're at our first break, and I'm going to give some of the history of Bigfoot. We've got a whole show that we intended to talk about Bigfoot. We don't have to shoot her wild right in the beginning.
Oh, come on. We got more than one wad.
Not at this age.
Speak for yourself.
It's coming. Or, matter of fact, it won't be.
Pun intended.
All right. So you're going to get our new artist, Chandler, with Haley Williams. You're going to get Snatch the Snail's new song, Forgot the Rock. And you're going to get David Christ and the Apocalypse, Suits Upstairs. You're listening to The Cult of Odd on tapdetroit.com. And we'll be right back. I promise. Here we go.
Now it's time for our Patreon shout-out. Big thanks to C. Wheezy, Bryce Rogers, Justin Burnside and Zaldor of Zaldor's World Podcast for becoming a patron. Welcome to our Holy Mother and the throne she sits upon, who have joined the Cult of Odd Plus. We hope you enjoy our long, uncut and girthy episodes until you're fully satisfied and left shaking from laughter. For everyone else, you can join our Patreon too. Just head to patreon.com/cultivodd. Become a patron and reap the benefits today.
Tired of regular bar food and bar atmospheres? Yes! Do you long for a place that feels like home where you're treated as family and not just another customer?
Yes! Yes!
Then Big League Brews is the place for you. Their menu is the most extensive in all of Downriver. They have an excellent breakfast selection, and they're also well known for their burgers and wings. But hey, if you don't want to believe just some guy on the radio, Big League Brews has been voted best sports bar in Metro Detroit by Click on Detroit 6 years in a row. Wow. They have the friendliest staff and a wide array of cocktails and beers, 26 of them on draft, with new creations regularly.
Yes! Yes! Yes!
And if you're looking for work, Big League Brews offers the most competitive wages with great medical and dental and vision benefits and plenty of paid time off. So what are you waiting for?
Get on over to Big League Brews, located at 20428 Ecorse Road in Taylor, Michigan, or head to bigleaguebrews.com for more info. Big League Brews, go beyond ordinary. Eat and drink extraordinary.
I don't even have the energy for this shit anymore. I'm tired of hearing it.
Bless you, Blair.
Drip, 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 all hazy. Misery business, Haley, told me come through. I told her maybe, clock on her wrist, tick, tick, lazy. Wait, nasal, wet, navel, came with a third, quaver. Oh, I with a buddy from Italy, we smoking basil. Oregano sheesh, and you couldn't change me if I was out rapping on cable. 6 deep at a table, I'd never speak of a fable. Avocado cut up and we dip in a chip and a basket of Gabriel.
Thank you.
Why are you coming to me like I do not got plans for the night? Why are you coming to me like I'm chilly and a lot of ice? Been living like I got a billion lines, whipping the focus. But whipping like I got a billion minds. I'm Molly where I give a billion minds. Cypher I climb, then I recline. Get a bag and a dime and doing some crime. They thinking they mine, it's really sublime the way that we passing the time. But it's a fine line. Drip, 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 all hazy. Misery business, Haley, told me come through. I told her maybe, clock on her wrist, tick, tick, lazy. White, nasal, wet, navel, came with a third, quaver. Oh, I'm out in BK with a couple of dogs. Brooklyn shit, I came from VA with a bag of the fog and a lighter flick. I've been feeling like Wayne, smoking the bong while you be a goofy snitch. You cannot get near me, I am just too legit. Tell you they get bang like Ludacris. Beaver, I got him like, damn, son, I go ham. I don't throw hands, I just throw bands. And I put it on the ground, everything off of the cam. Feeling every single jam, just to show off for the fam. You're not fam, you could never be the man. How this just ain't gonna pan, fam. Go throw your pen in the can, man. You just do not understand, man. You can barely even stand, fam. If you were rapping the way I was rapping, then maybe you would not be damn, fam. Drip, 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 all hazy. Misery business, Haley, told me come through. I told her maybe, clock on her wrist, tick, tick, lazy. White, nasal, wet, navel, came with a third, quaver. Oh, drip, 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 all hazy, hazy, hazy. Drip, 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 all hazy, hazy, hazy. Misery business, Haley, Haley, Haley.
Never forgot about the rock forgot about me, and now it's I never forgot about the rock forgot about me, and now it's oh well, it's coming up short of being alive, and you're coming up short of being on my radar, honey. I don't wanna burst your bubble, I'm gonna, you forgot the rock, and your mother, and your father, older brother, they forgot the rock. They forgot the rock. Forgot the rock, and the rock forgot about me, but I never forgot about the rock, and now I'm the rock forgot about me, but I never forgot the rock, and now I'm coming up short of being alive, and I'm coming up short of being on your radar, honey. I don't wanna burst your bubble, but I'm gonna. You forgot the rock, and your mother, and your father, and your daughter, they forgot the rock.
Are you tired of incense that stinks? Motor City Candleworks is Metro Detroit's #1 source for premium handmade incense, as well as hand sanitizer and now massage oil, with a wide array of scents inspired by Michigan cities and attractions. You're sure to find a fragrance that'll keep your love of the mitten burning all year round. Head to MotorCityCandleworks.com and order yours today. And make sure you find them on Facebook, too, for all of their upcoming sales and events. Motor City Candleworks. Michigan handmade scents that just make sense.
That smell. The kind of smelly smell.
How about a cup of Joe? I'll warm the car up and tune the radio. Made this playlist for your morning commute. It's a little early for the morning to venture off, to take the world by storm in your workplace casual uniform. Singing the suits upstairs, the suits. No, they don't care. All the suits upstairs, the suits. No, they don't care like I care. Don't mind me, I won't eat up any more of your time. You got a lot of corporate ladder to climb. You're off to take the world by storm in your workplace casual uniform. Singing the suits upstairs, the suits. They don't care. All the suits upstairs, the suits. No, they don't care like I care. The suits upstairs. No, they don't care. You're taking the world by storm in your workplace casual uniform. The suits upstairs, the suits. No, they don't care. All the suits upstairs, the suits. No, they don't care like I care. The suits, they don't care like I care. The suits, they don't care like I care. The suits upstairs.
We weren't paying attention.
We were busy.
We were talking. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. You're back. We're listening to the Cult of Odd. We're listening to the Cult of Odd while we do it. Hey.
That takes talent.
Yeah, da. So Holly Mother is in the chat room, and I want to say hello to everybody else that's listening. Those of you that are not in the chat room, you can get to it by going to tapdetroit.com/chat room when we're live. But other than that, I see a bunch of you are listening on the
Congratulations, Mr. Brown, on your interview.
Yeah, Mr. Brown was featured today, I think is when the article dropped. He sent it to me. I should have been more prepared. I'm terrible.
Yeah, we remembered it, though. We mentioned it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. What do you want?
No, so it was on DetroitSportsNation.com. They gave Motor City Candleworks a write-up. They're doing Small Business Friday. So they pick...
little article.
Yeah, they pick one small business in Detroit, and they let you know about it. And if you happen to be a small business owner in Detroit or in the Michigan area, you can go to DetroitSportsNation.com. The article for Mr. Brown, there's a thing at the bottom that says how to be featured. So
Cool.
you can go talk to them and maybe...
Congratulations again.
Yeah, the good stinky stuff. It's so nice, too, because, like, I made his logo. So that's when he gets... When he
famous?
Yeah, no, when he gets attention, I see my work out there, and I'm like,
Oh, I'm so proud of myself.
yeah.
Don't break your arm.
I did want to talk about numbers a little bit, though. I'm pleasantly surprised. Currently, the last episode we did, episode 84, Finger Licking Good, 141 downloads. 74 of which came within the first 3 to 4 days.
Somebody's listening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Better than 6.
So basically, in 2 weeks, because it's been 2 weeks
Since we was on.
we doubled the numbers, so we hit the same stride each week.
We're awesome.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah, there he goes. Broke his
Pat
arm.
yourself on the back.
I don't know. I love what we do, and I think that others like what we do, and that's what matters. We've also, we're closing in on 750 likes on the Facebook page, and we have 800 some follows. So, like, we're
Not to toot your own horn, but it's all Odd. He's putting a lot of work and a lot of time into it. So, you know, tip of the hat to the Odd man.
I hustle harder than anyone you'll meet.
I just show up on Fridays.
Yeah, exactly. I just show up.
Yeah.
We
Literally.
follow his lead.
It's my
He's the
call.
leader.
Yeah,
That's the job. He's a cult leader. That's the whole thing.
Yeah.
We just follow.
that's fine.
Surprisingly, not that
fine.
much paperwork.
No, none at all for you.
Yeah, not for me.
All right. So, thank you for joining us, and so on to more Bigfoot talk. Now, one of the things that was interesting is the lore behind Bigfoot and finding out more about it. And I went searching and dug up as much information as I could, because I know you guys like it when I share stuff with you, right? You like being shared with?
Fountain of straight lines.
All right. So, Bigfoot, also commonly referred to as Sasquatch, is purported to be an ape-like creature said to inhabit the forests of North America. There's tons and tons of articles out there if you search the internet. Some of them are...
Questionable?
Yeah, like, it sounds weird to talk about Bigfoot and be like, yeah, some of them are less than credible. You know, because, like, you understand. Yeah. There have really been no hard evidence that Bigfoot exists except that film from 1965, right? The Patterson Gimlin film that we were talking about before we went to break is like the solidest piece of evidence we've ever had.
It's been looked at the most.
Yeah.
And that's
And it's
why.
been around forever, too.
Yeah, 67.
And from what everyone can tell from looking at the film footage, it is not a hoax.
Yep. I would point to Todd Standings, too. Now, he's somebody that is questionable in a lot of the things that he puts out. But you've got two trains of thought. Else you're going to have to believe that this guy is a master makeup artist, can climb a mountain for 2 days, put on a FX costume that is hard to believe, do a makeup job, and then film himself from across the ravine. So, else that's what's happening, or else he's got some decent pictures.
But when you go back and look, the majority of mainstream scientists have historically discounted the existence of Bigfoot, considering it to be the result of a combination of folklore, misidentification, and hoax, rather than an actual living animal. Folklorists can trace the phenomenon of Bigfoot to a combination of factors and sources, including indigenous cultures. The European wild man figure and folk tales, wishful thinking, a cultural increase, environmental concerns, and overall societal awareness of the subject have been cited as additional factors as to why it's so widely known and talked about. Other creatures of relatively similar description are alleged to inhabit various regions throughout the world, such as the skunk ape in the southeastern area of the United States.
Yeti in the Himalayas.
Well, you have the Almas in Yaren, and the Yeti in Asia, and the Australian Yowie, all of which, like Bigfoot, are ingrained in the cultures of their regions. Of course, we all know that Bigfoot is described as a large, muscular, bipedal, ape-like creature covered in black, dark brown, or dark reddish hair. It can be anywhere from 8 to 10 to 15 feet tall.
Different areas got different sizes.
Yeah.
Environment.
Some observations even describe Bigfoot as more man-like, with reports of a human-like face. In 1971, multiple people in Dallas, Oregon, filed a police report describing an overgrown ape, and one of the men claimed to have sighted the creature in the scope of his rifle, but could not bring himself to shoot it because it looked more human than animal. Common descriptions also include broad shoulders, no visible neck, long arms, which skeptics describe as likely a misidentification of a bear standing upright. But, like, I've seen bears walk upright, you know?
The thing is, when you see a bear walking upright,
you know it's a bear.
It's a bear.
Even
it's
from
very
behind.
obvious. Even from a distance, you can tell it's a bear.
And this is the thing too, is like they like to discredit all these people as crazy, uneducated yahoos, but these are people who have spent a lot of fucking time in the woods, a lot of fucking time hunting and fishing and camping and hiking and working. They know what shit looks like.
Yep.
They're not gonna look at a chipmunk and go, "Oh, a bear." No. You know,
and if you've ever seen a bear walk on its hind legs, which they do,
it's weird.
Yeah.
It's not a walk; it's a wobble.
Yeah. Some alleged nighttime sightings have stated that the creature's eyes glowed yellow or red. However, eye shine is not present in humans or any other known apes, and so proposed explanations for observable eye shine off of the ground in the forest includes owls, raccoons, possums, all up in the trees. Yeah, okay. You know, I get where you could see that, but at the same time, too, there are photographs out there that you have seen, and those eyes are a little too far apart to be an owl or a raccoon or a possum. You know, they're wider set like ours are. You know, there's honestly, bird eyes don't look like human eyes.
Honestly, it's easier to believe that people seen a Bigfoot than it is for somebody like, oh no, that's an owl, or that's a, like, really? No, the fact that you're saying that is suspect. I'd rather believe the Bigfoot guy.
I have spent very little time in the woods growing up. I am not a camper. I am not much of a fisherman. I don't hunt. Hell, it wasn't until just recently that I ever fired a real gun.
No, I like to go camping, but I definitely was not outdoors.
But
like,
I have seen,
as a child,
I have seen owls. I have seen raccoons. I have seen possums.
Yep.
I have seen them from close to mid-range to far. I know what they are at far because I can look at them and see how the eyes are set.
Yep.
Now, you would require a light. If you were to ask me, is that a possum or a raccoon? Well, I'd see the eyes and be like, well, I couldn't tell you, but I know it's not a Bigfoot.
Right.
I know it ain't people.
Off the ground? No, that's not it.
It ain't people.
No.
So, like, the fact that a lot of these people that do have the stories are ones that spend so much time in the woods, and they're like, yeah, they don't know what that was. That was an owl. No, I sincerely doubt that they would, because they all carry lights with them. At this point, most of them carry flashlights, night vision goggles, heat detectors. Like, if they're out there seriously squatching, you know,
I can tell you exactly what it is. People don't want to believe that there's something out there that they don't know what it is.
Mm-hmm.
They don't want to believe that they don't know everything.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, I'm guilty of that myself, because the Mothman is one that has always intrigued me, and like trying to figure out what it is. And I think I might have come up with an answer for what started the Mothman legend. There might be a fucking Mothman out there. Don't get me wrong.
Not saying
right. Those giant bugs in Australia. I believe there might be a moth as big.
There
as
might be a Mothman out there. However, are you aware of what a harpy eagle is?
Yeah, I know exactly what a harpy eagle is, and if you ever saw one of those, you'd shit your pants.
Now, think about
I've seen pictures.
the time when the Mothman started gaining fucking ink and people knew about it and whatnot, the time period where it would have been seen. I think it's entirely possible that some rich dumbass in that area, or even a shipping container, like it could have gotten onto a ship and rode over here and undetected.
I was going to say, they from South America?
Yeah, they're not native to here.
Not at all, but yeah.
But someone in that time period could have been rich enough to have an exotic pet,
right?
Or it's close enough because of the area that it's in and how big the animal is. It could have caught a ride hidden on a shipping container ship.
Well, standing on the ground, harpy eagles like 5 foot tall.
They're the size of a man.
They're gigantic.
They're huge. They got like a 12-foot wingspan,
and they got those weird fucking horns that come up.
Maybe that's also what they think the Jersey Devil is.
It could be just misidentification, but I ain't saying there ain't no Mothman.
No,
right. I ain't stepping on anybody's
exactly.
toes.
No,
I don't know.
With me, and I told you this before, with me, it's like, okay, what makes the most logical sense? How is this logical? Okay, with Bigfoot, I have to accept the fact, knowing what I know about evolution and what I was taught in books, that man and caveman and ape, there was a mixture somewhere along there. Like, I don't think we were necessarily monkeys. We were some weird offshoot hybrid thing. We were a mutation.
Cousins.
Yeah, we were a mutation that took hold.
Right.
But so if we were a mutation that took hold and we became this, all right, what's to say that there wasn't an
wow, and the ghost.
Do you have a ghost?
Possibly, but that was just, I knew that was going to fall eventually. I can't stick anything to
cold walls.
Yeah, it doesn't.
I'm not going to lie, that scared the crap out of me.
Do you need a timeout to go change your shorts?
No, I'm all right.
All right, we don't have spare shorts.
That was definitely
moving forward.
But anyways, so I look at it logically, and logically to me, it makes sense that there could be another species that was an offshoot, but for whatever reason, it decided to stay secluded. Now, maybe it is more animal. Animals tend to hide from us. The thing is over the years, we evolved. This thing would have evolved to some extent as well. Animals today are smarter than the animals that were alive way back when. You know, they learn, they adapt. That's what nature does: adapt and overcome.
Cut down their forest, they'll find another forest or live with what's left.
Now, to me, a large, hairy version of us wander in the woods makes perfect sense. Because they always say that people evolve from monkeys, but have you ever really given some people a good look and think, you came from a bulldog? You know?
Hey, it's not their fault. Some people just end up looking like their pet.
You descended from a bird. Your family came from birds. Like, seriously, there are people out there that look like walking, talking human bullfrogs.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I went to school with a guy who we gave him a nickname, Bullfrog.
Because he looked like a bullfrog?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
So, hey, man, Bigfoot
ask Rob about that.
Bigfoot is right there on par for me. Even jokingly, you know, but it makes sense to me. So, okay, you have this giant creature wandering around the woods. I can't imagine there's very many of them because, like they said, you know, it's a size area of what we haven't ruined yet with progress. You know, so the area is small. Nature tries to keep a balance. Even the DNR will come out and say, okay, you know, we've got an overpopulation of deer. No, you don't. I guarantee you don't have an overpopulation of deer. You know what you got? Too many people in the area. That's the issue, because the deer will take care of themselves, honestly.
Like the city deer in Ann Arbor.
You know,
nobody wants to eat them.
No. They're basically neighbors.
For years, you've also had reports of wild animals, wilder animals than typical wild animals up in the woods in Michigan, too. Just recently, Black Panther. That's right. T'Challa is running around up there.
Yeah. They been saying for 20 years there's Black Panthers. DNR launched several investigations, got the Forest Service involved.
Good night,
they
Only
came
Mother.
Out with an official response that there is no way a black cougar could be out there in the Huron Forest. They released it the next day. A car hit one.
Oh man!
Wah, wah. Yeah, da.
Car and prove the DNR wrong again.
Exactly.
All right, so we accept the fact that, you know, it's bullshit that they're like, oh, it's owls, it's raccoons, it's possums, it's everything else.
It's anything but that.
There's Michael Rugg, the owner of a Bigfoot Discovery Museum in Northern California. Claims to have smelled Bigfoot, stating, imagine a skunk that had rolled around in dead animals and had hung around the garbage pits. Now, that's another thing that a lot of people say, is that Bigfoot has a smell, has a stink.
Oh, duh. I mean, it's been wandering out in the woods for
wet dog.
years.
Yeah, but, okay, so you see deer. Deer don't stink that bad.
You get up on them, they do. Yeah, they smell pretty bad.
Well, how close are you getting to Bigfoot that you can smell it, though? That's the thing.
Yeah, I think what
maybe it's its own natural musk with whatever stink from
the foot.
I think what's happening, and this is just in my opinion, is that when they're hiding into places where people don't go, which is usually the swamps. There's a lot of swamp up there. There's Foley Swamp that we didn't even touch on.
Or Walmart.
And you start walking around knee-deep in swamp water and get it all over your furry legs, you're going to stink.
Yeah. You'll
to a river.
A mixture of whatever stink was in the swamp to begin
All
with, and
organic
then mildew and everything else. Yeah.
You can just walk into a swamp, and a cedar cypress swamp has a distinct smell all of its own.
Yep.
And I think they're just picking that up and stinking everything up.
And then there's also, too, there's people that have, like, swamp foot bad. Like,
yeah,
you know?
They take their shoe off and everybody in the room falls out. Yeah.
So imagine if Bigfoot has swamp foot without the benefit of a shoe.
You'd have to borrow Shaq's shoes.
Big swamp foot.
Big swamp foot.
Yeah, there you go.
Or maybe what you're smelling is Bigfoot swamp ass.
All that hair back there around in the
Must
heat.
be hard to wipe.
Oh, no.
That's the other thing, too, is like that footage. There's no dingleberries or anything. That's the only other thing. Yeah.
We're trying to say Bigfoot's asexual.
I'm saying that Bigfoot has a salon out in the woods. That's what I'm going with.
A lot of rivers and creeks flowing water
funny
works.
you mentioned salon. I heard a story from a guy who had called in to this radio station.
We're a radio station.
I was on my way to a wedding, and I was on my way, and I had the radio on. I was listening, and they were taking Bigfoot calls. This guy called in, and he swore, he was like, I saw Bigfoot. And he was like, okay, describe him. And the guy was like, it was like 7 foot tall and had long, beautiful hair. He said long, beautiful hair. So when you said
so luxurious,
that's the only thing I could think of. I was like, oh my God.
They need to get Bigfoot in an Herbal Essence commercial. Stat.
Man with jet wings, you know.
But okay, so and then the other thing that people have claimed is they find footprints, enormous footprints, for which the creature is named, of course, and claimed to be about 24 inches long and about 8 inches wide. Some footprint casts also have contained claw marks, making it likely that they've come from known animals such as bears or which have 5 toes and claws. But here's the thing again. I know what a barefoot looks like.
Yeah.
I got 2 of them right now. But no, I know what a fucking barefoot looks like. I know a print that a bear would make. You telling me that there's a bear walking around with people toes?
See, I'm starting to think, I don't know if it's as much as people just discrediting everyone else, or if it's a government conspiracy to keep people thinking that this Sasquatch does not exist.
I think mainly what it is 90% of the population live within 20 miles of the water. So you got this huge section of empty land. People don't come out of the cities. They don't pop their head out of their own little world that they're living in enough to go hunting. The population that hunts is minute. The people of those hunters that actually go Bigfoot hunting are even smaller than that. So you got like 0.5% out there looking, and 99.5% going, it doesn't exist.
Well, and the other thing is, though, too, is that percentage that is out hunting, that isn't just looking for Bigfoot, but is out there, they have shit that happens to them that they can't explain, that they just don't talk about.
Exactly. They go out deer hunting with their buddies, and then they have a sighting. They ain't going to come back into camp and say, hey, guess what, guys? I just saw a Bigfoot.
It's like people who got
out of camp.
It's like people who've been abducted by aliens. They don't want to talk about it.
Yep.
So,
Vietnam stories. Only when they're really drunk do you get those.
We're going to give you a little bit of the history, and then we're going to have to cut for our next break. So many of the indigenous cultures across North America include tales of mysterious hair-covered creatures living in the forests. And according to anthropologist David Deagle, these legends existed long before contemporary reports of Bigfoot. These stories differ in their details both regionally and between families in the same community. On the Tule River Indian Reservation in Central California, petroglyphs created by a tribe of Yokuts at a site called Painted Rock are allegedly by some to depict a group of Bigfoot called the Family. The local tribespeople call the largest of the glyphs Hairy Man, and they are estimated to be between 500 and 1,000 years old. 16th century Spanish explorers and Mexican settlers in California told tales of los vigilantes oscuros, or dark watchers, large creatures alleged to stalk their camps at night. In the region that is now Mississippi, a French Jesuit priest was living within the Natchez in 1721 and reported stories of hairy creatures in the forest known to scream loudly and steal livestock. It was Ewoks.
Yep.
Yeah.
And what was I saying when we was up there? You start finding large sections of dogs missing. Mm-hmm. You got a Bigfoot.
Ecologist Robert Pyle argues that most culture accounts of human-like giants in their folk history, expressing a need for some larger-than-life creature. But why, though, right?
Why would everybody come up with the same story when there was no newspapers back then?
Yeah.
There was no way to share those stories long distance.
Well, and what would what would a culture need to have a large...
You would.
Yeah. Each language had its own name for the creature featured in the local version of such legends. Many names mean something along the lines of wild man or hairy man, although other names describe common actions that it was said to perform, such as eating clams or shaking trees. Chief Michelle of Noxa, I can't pronounce that, in Lytton, British Columbia, told such a story to Charles Hill Tout in 1898. The Satales people tell stories of Sasquatch, a shape-shifting creature that protects the forest. The name Sasquatch is an anglicized version of Sasquatch or Saskats, roughly translating to hairy man in the Halaquillam language. Members of the Lumi tell tales about creatures known as Samwex. I'm butchering these, but the stories are similar to each other in general description, but details differ among various family accounts concerning the creature's diet and activities. Some regional versions tell of more threatening creatures. Specifically, I can't pronounce it, but there was a nocturnal race, and children were warned against saying the name so that the monsters would not come and carry them off to be killed. The Iroquois tell of an aggressive hair-covered giant with rock-hard skin known as the Stone Giant, more commonly referred to as the Genasqua. In 1847, Paul Kane reported stories by the natives about Sukums, a race of cannibalistic wild men living on the peak of Mount St. Helens in southern Washington. Also related to this area was an alleged incident in 1924 in which a violent encounter between a group of gold prospectors and a group of ape men occurred. The allegations were reported July 16th in an issue of the Oregonian and have become a popular piece of Bigfoot lore, with the area now being referred to as Ape Canyon. U.S. President Theodore Roosevelt, in his 1893 book, The Wilderness Hunter, writes of a story he was told by an elderly mountain man named Bowman, in which a foul-smelling, bipedal creature ransacked his beaver trapping camp, stalked him, and later became hostile when it fatally broke his companion's neck in the wilderness near the Idaho-Montana border. Roosevelt notes that Bauman appeared fearful while telling the story, but attributed the trapper's folkloric German ancestry to have potentially influenced him. So we have a U.S. president writing about goddamn Bigfoot.
Yeah, almost 100 years ago.
Yeah,
Less menacing versions have also been recorded, such as one by Reverend Elkin Walker from 1840. Walker was a Protestant missionary who recorded stories of giants among the natives living near Spokane, Washington. These giants were said to live on and around the peaks of the nearby mountains, stealing salmon from the fishermen's nets.
Yep. It goes back, way back.
And as they said, Australia has it, so you've got cultures and stuff there. The other thing too is like, one of the things that I want to do at some point, if I'm lucky enough, you know what? We're gonna end the fun size right here, and I'm gonna talk about that stuff where it's locked behind the Patreon paywall, so I know if anyone steals my idea, I know who to go looking for. So for the rest of you, if you're interested in bits of Ace and I's trip, keep an eye on YouTube over the next few days. If you're not already subscribed to my YouTube channel, go search Cult of Odd on YouTube and subscribe now, because there's going to be something dropping in a few days that you're going to want to be able to see. It's kind of a companion piece to this episode. I didn't put any of the stuff that I found or any of the stuff that I recorded into the episode on purpose. I want you to go check out the rest of it and how I've presented it, and I hope you enjoy.